are more resourceful than what I am regarding this matter, because already I have been told that this whole, I think this is the fifth session on continuity. So I will just summarize it, and I will not repeat each and every continuity. What is my perspective actually, I am going to share along with you. So let's talk about the scope and limitation. So scope, since 4 5 days I think you are talking about continuity scope. Yeah, just yesterday also I was listening to that beautiful lecture delivered by Vishnu Priya Madam. She took details of the Akashaya again. By listening, I was thinking, oh, this topic is already in continuity, it is again getting repeated. So actually there are various methods, just like we see, there are variety of nyayas. Again, a scholar in the first year or second year, when he studies the Shalit Kriya. A general question, why is the repetition of nyaya? The Siddhanta, as we are told, that principle is only one. Acid and base, when they mix together, they will always produce the salt. That is for neutralization reaction. So why is it so much variety? Kshiradadi Nyaya, okay. Kshiradadi Nyaya or the other Nyayas, which are, but you see in the body, all the Nyayas act together to explain the complete phenomenon. If we stick to one Nyaya, we cannot explain all the transformations of dhatus in the body. So that's why that is the uniqueness of Ayurveda. It is our strength. So we have to accept it. Similarly, we have a variety of Tantra Gunas. That includes an important topic of Tantra Yukti. Next, please. So, what are the learning objectives we are assured of? So, what are the various views on Tantra Yuktis? A brief history of Tantra Yuktis. How did they come into the picture? Because I remember when I was doing the BAMS, then nobody actually touched this topic, Tantra Yukti. We also thought what a burden it is. Nobody talked about its scientific nature. Nobody talked about its application. What is the importance? No answer from any of the teachers at that time. But with the change of time, awareness in the young generation, today we are having 5 lectures on Tantra Yukti. So that is the development actually. So what is the historical background, definition number, we will just, and then main thing is the utility or scope in contemporary era vis-a-vis research. And then we are going to talk about the limitations or what are the challenges actually. So this is my own presentation. You may differ. I agree, and we are all here to differ. So that brings something new. So that is we call Abhyugam Siddhanta. So that has to be there. So this is my own perspective. Then what are the limitations or challenges for the Tantra Yukti? Yes, please. Next, please. Yes. So what are the various views? You know, your module itself says it is a methodology. So when there is a difference between method and methodology always. Method is what you are applying, and logi, the suffix logi makes it a science. So wherever there is logi, it means the base. Just like an example of iceberg again and again is quoted. Tip of the iceberg, the part which is above the water, that is the method which you are utilizing. But the part which is under the water, which is giving it the base, which is giving it the support, that is called as logi. So that's why that is the difference between the method and the methodology. So that's why it is the theoretico scientific treatise in Ayurveda, whatever we say, or in the Indian tradition. So they are all, the Tantra Yuktis are one of the methodologies. Clear? So they are actually the scientific base, because at that time there were no formats. Today you want to write an article, so all of the journals have their format, you have the template available, so you have to just fill in the blanks or fill in the material. But at that time there was no availability of such format, so there should be some uniformity, there should be some method. That's why the Tantra Yuktis seem to have been evolved. So it is considered as a forms of scientific argument. Yes, correct. Because at that time again, the Nyaya talked about the Vada. So there were no written examinations. It was the oral transmissions, okay, of the knowledge. So that's why they were the scientific argument, how to defeat again. So they are on the basis of the Tantra Yuktis, you are going to prove your point or you want to negate the other's points. So that's why it becomes a form of scientific argument. Then it is a logical plan. Yes, that is the most important thing. What is the logic? Just like yesterday again, it was very impressive. I would like to quote again and again. Madam touched very important issues, Vishnu Priya Madam actually. It was a great lecture again. She talked about why are there repetitions of the doshas throughout the text. So that was logical plan again.
So it is a logical plan of a treatise or knowledge. Okay, because nahi jnanena sadrasham pavitram vidyate, or great. The greatness of the knowledge has been in the blood of Indian culture. So then they are considered as maxims also, the Nyaya again, because they are not the final one. You have a variety of Tantriyuktis, variety of Nyayas. So they are also considered as maxims. Then there are canons, which we have talked, canons of exposition, the tools or devices to expose new meanings. Clear? So that is again important point. And they are formal elements which gave form to a scientific work. So they are the formal elements, they are the foundation of the creation of a treatise. Next. Okay, so again, there are some other views. Methodology and technique, yes. Compose and interpret. They are the main aims and objectives of Tantrayukti actually. How to compose a scientific text? How to interpret? Then again, compose interpretation is all of us our own view. The same Tantrayukti we can interpret in different ways, or the same sutra, it is our right to interpret. And nobody can say this is right or this is wrong. When you prove it, yes, you have to prove your logic. Again, we have the Panchavya Vakya, Pratigna Hetu, Udharan, Upnay, Nigaman. So these are the facts actually. So we cannot force upon, yes, this Tantrayukti means that. No. It is for all of us to use our own logic. And that is what beauty of Ayurveda lies. It is not about the principle, modern principle that, okay, Archimedes principle, okay, that is fixed. Here, all of us are undergoing continuous thinking process because it is mainly the subjective parameters again. Okay. So to summarize, we have to see it is the foundation of composition at the first end. That was the base actually. Why was it started? The thinking about Tantrayukti to compose. What was the method of composing? Today it's very clear. You get templates of what should be the font size, bold and italics, what should come in introduction, what should be abstract. Everything is clear cut according to the various referencing styles. But at that time, there was no such method. So that's why they are the foundation of composition, comprehension, and application of the scientific knowledge coded in the Indian classics and including Ayurveda. So actually it is a coded language again, just like the sutras, understanding of the sutras. So Tantrayukti also acts as a code, okay? And it is for all of us to decode according to our knowledge. Because the base is going to Praman. We cannot overcome in any ways the Praman because Praman is our base. Praman is the original scientific methodology. So that has to be clear, I think, that Praman is the base. Through the Pramana, they all are the helping tools. So that is all. There are various views on the Tantrayukti. Next, please. So historical background, you know very well now, I think. Some authors date the Tantrayuktis back to 6000 BC, 6th BC rather. So the first systematic classification or description arises with the Kautilya Arthashastra, generally accepted to be around the time of the Chandragupta Maurya. So they have quoted 32 Tantrayuktis. Then Nyaya Sutra Bhashya of Vatsyayana also mentions Anumata as the Tantrayukti, acceptance actually. So that is Anumata. Vishnu Dharmottar Purana, again 32 Tantrayuktis. Tantrayukti Vichar, a famous book. Neelmekh Vishak, 36 Tantrayuktis. Next. Okay, Charaka Samhita, we have talked about in detail. So it is unique in many ways, differ from the Kautilya Arthashastra because there the Prayojana was the economics, you know, it was the economics, politics. That was the main reason behind the Kautilya Arthashastra, while Ayurveda has a different Prayojan or different aim of the health. Then Sushruta again, we talk about Tantrayukti Adhyaya, one among the Tantra Bhushan Adhyaya. So again, it is important. And then Ashtang Sangraha and Hriday, they mention the nothing more to add. They were just the same as described in the Charaka Samhita. Okay, now the definitions, I think it's very much clear. Tantra and Yukti, Tanu, Tana Vistare, that is the elongation. Again, it is just like the Sutra, two Tanoti Vipulanarthan again. Vipulanarthan, you have the right, you have the freedom, I would like to say, to derive your own meanings. And then you test it. You test it on various means, whether you can assess it or there is some lacuna again. It's a trial and error method again and again. So nothing is final here. So that's why it becomes the Tanoti Vipulan Arthana. Tattva. Tattva is again very important philosophy. Tattva, purest form. Tattva mentions purest form. There is no mixture. It is the element actually. So again, when you want to go into the deepest philosophy of Ayurveda, you have to take the support of Tantra Yukti. This is very much clear. So Tattva Mantra Samanvitam Tranam Cha, it is going to save us. So that is Tranam Cha Kurute. Then Ayurveda is also referred to as the Tantra. Then Yukti. Again, Yukti, Praman also, Yukti as a Paradi Guna. So everywhere you find the Yukti, and all of us, the beauty of Yukti is all of us can have our own logic. Nobody can, this is force upon us that you have to have this kind of thinking. No, this is our prerogative. We are going to think according to our logic. So that's why Yukti is the beauty again. So that's why it is Tantra Yukti. How do you understand? How do you interpret the Tantra Yuktis? That is the main thing. Clear? So each of us, I tell you, we can have our own interpretation. And each of us can be right also. Yeah, so that is again the uniqueness of the Ayurveda science. So Tantra Yukti thus denotes the device that aid, they help the composition of text in a systematic manner. Okay? To convey intended ideas clearly. What were the intentions again of the Acharyas? To convey those ideas, the Tantra Yuktis play a very, very important role. Next please. Then enumeration, I will not know because you have already known. Okay, fine. Yes, next. Okay, next, it's nothing. Then what is the importance? This is the Shastriya Mata. So, ekasmin api yasya shastre labdaspada mati shastram anyadapi ashu yukti gnyatvata. Again, this is the first application. Actually, it is a device which you have to apply in whatever forms. Today, we are all talking about research and everything. Arthashaya research, that research, everything. We are going to compare with the research. So at that time, there was no concept. They did not mention, or about 10, 15 years also, nobody thought that Tantra Yuktis may be utilized for the research also. So now we have utilized, we have developed our logic. How can we apply this treasure of knowledge? Then, okay, then Adhyanopi Shastrani, okay, these are very important. Again, Tasmadetaha Pravakshante Vistare Uttare Punaha. Tattva Jnanarthamaseva, Tantrasya Gunadoshatah, Tantra Gun and Tantra Dosha. You have to observe on the basis of Tantra Yukti. So again, it was a method of discussion, it was a method of improving or continuous pursuit of the knowledge. Next. So importance again, as you know, Vakya Yojana and the Artha Yojana, they were the two. How to frame a meaningful sentence, as we have seen in the first or second standard today, those among us who are having kids, they know very well how to arrange a sentence, otherwise the meaning changes. It's like God is nowhere and God is now here. So what it should be, the arrangement, what should be the logical syntax of the sentence? So that is Vakya Yojana, and how to derive the meanings, that is Artha Yojana. So they were the two important aims and objectives of the Tantra Yukti. So then lean artha, asangat artha, prakashanam sangati karanam. How will you illuminate the knowledge which is hidden in the classics? Or how will you decode the language? The same Charaka Samhita today also, whenever you read hundreds of times. Then also when you read 100 first time, then you see, oh, I got something new. So how is it possible? You are utilizing your logic, you are utilizing your yukti, you are utilizing Tantra Yukti. So actually, Adhikaran Padartha Vyadinam Artha Yojana Prayojanam. Okay, next. Okay. Then again, two important aspects: Prabodhana, proper understanding, bodha, to know, to understand, and Prakashana, to uncover the truth. That is what research is all about actually, to uncover the truth. That's why we have in Ayurveda retrospective and prospective research, because generally we are all trying to prove the objectivity of the Ayurvedic text. Wherever we see, okay, the Charaka has said this, or Sharat Kale Swabhavacha Shoditam Sampradushyati, that has been explained. And when you conduct a survey study at your clinics, then you see, yes, the patients of Pitta or the skin problems or the Rakta Dushti increase during the time of Sharad Ritu. So that is what you are doing. You are changing the subjective parameters to the objective parameters. So that is what is called as Prakashana or Prabodhana. Next. Then again, as I told you, method of discussion, argument. Okay, so Asadvadi Prayuktanam, how to, but you should think that, okay, there is a way, a method to evolve new science or new theories actually. So that's why that is Asadvadi Prayuktanam Vakyanam Pratishedanam. That's again, when you create hypothesis, you are doing the same thing. You are just, you want to prove what has not been proved. So that is actually Asad Vakya, because you do not know what you are going to do. But again, when it is proved, it becomes Siddhanta. So again, it's a continuous journey actually to explore new and new knowledge. So then Vyakta, Avyakta, Navtasu, okay, that's okay. Then this is again very important. What is the importance of Tantra Yukti? Charak Viman 8 clearly mentions Kritsnam Shastram Adhigamya Shastra Sadrdatayam Abhidhanasa Saushtave Arthasya Vignane Vachan Shaktaucha. First, it is understanding again. That is part of both Anushtan again of the Ashtang Hridayam. So first you have to read, then understand, and then apply. So how will you understand? Again, it's because of the Tantra Yukti. So again, it is Saushtave Arthasya. How will you interpret the proper meaning? Then Vijnana, how are going to use it logically? Because systematic Jnana, that is Vijnana. When the difference between the Jnana and Vijnana, knowledge, we are all Jnani, agreed. But when we are using it in a logical way, in a systematic way, it transforms into a Vijnana. So that's why it is Vijnana, Vachan Shakto, the capability to speak or oration. So that is our continuous aim. Bhuyo Bhuyah Prayateta Samyak. So it is not going to stop ever. The journey of the exploration of the knowledge or increasing the knowledge is a continuous process. So then again, Vak Saushtave Artha Vijnane, that is the basic of the fundamentals of research again. Tad abhyase cha siddhaucha yatet adhyayanantagaha, that is the end, and the end will not, we will never be able to reach the end actually, because it is a continuous process. So these are all explaining the importance of Tantra Yukti. Okay, so now, yes, now we come to the, what is the scope? So, main first point in this matter is essential for all the aspects of composition of a treatise. As I told you, it forms the foundation. Clear? Because when you see that the texts were written and only a few people had this opportunity to compose a text, there were strict rules and regulations, and various rules have to be followed. So, what was the foundation actually? So we can say, yes, the foundation is in the form of Tantra Yukti. So that's why assist in defining the fundamental structure of the work. What should be the fundamental structure? What do I want to compose? Okay, so that's why Adhikaran comes into play and various other Tantra Yuktis come into play. So whether it will be question answer format, you see various books, the Acharyas of yore have written various books in the form of question answers. Some are descriptive, some are putting questions, just like you see the style of Chakrapani. He raises the doubts, then clarifies the doubts. So they were all the methods actually utilized. So what is the base of that method? That method base is the Tantra Yukti. So actually it is the foundation for the structure of the work. It is a foundational structure actually. Then author forms a template or foundation, correct? As I told you, it forms a just like you prepare the protocol of research actually. You prepare a template. What am I going to do? How am I going to write? So that foundation actually is the Tantra Yukti. Then this foundation gets reinforced with the help of the other Tantra Gunas. So then the other Tantra Gunas come into play. They together have, they all together actually assist in formation of a finished work. Okay, so actually that's why the Tantra Yuktis are called as the major devices, while the others, the Arthashrayas, Kalpanas, and others, they are called as minor devices. So major device and the minor device. So major because it is the foundation structure. It is a foundation structure of any composition. So that's why it is called as the, so this is the main scope. Just like some examples have been quoted, there may be many. Again, it is the way you look. This is not final what has been presented. You may differ on this, it is your right again. And you may go for the addition or deletion also. Okay, so just like some of the examples, first you go for the objective of the test, yamartham prayojate. So that is what we call as prayojana. Then what will be the adhikarana? Then again you talk about the hourglass model for the selection of topic of research. First there is a big area, then you narrow it, then again you increase the scope. So that is hourglass model, it's very famous. So actually it talks about the adhikarana. How will you select your topic? Okay, so again that is adhikarana and then vidhana. What is the systematic method? How are you going to arrange the topics, that is Vidhana? And then Uddesha Nirdesha. First you go into the Uddesha Vyakhya, abstract. In modern days you talk about the abstract and the full paper or the full description or full book. So that is Uddesha Nirdesha Vyakhya. Okay, so these are actually the first foundation, actually, the foundation on which the whole work of the composition is based. So that is what I think this is the first importance of the scope of the Tantrayukti. So any text actually, when you are planning, because I know many of us have written a number of books. So what should be the foundation? So the foundation has to be based on Tantrayukti. This is very much clear. Next, please. Okay, then statement of principles and theories. Once you decide the structure, then second comes, what are you going to describe? Principles and theories. Is there some new proposition you are going to suggest, or is there your new interpretation of the text? So statement of the principles and theories come into the next. So Tantrayukti again provide the code. Again, it is the code for description and description of the observation, principles, general rules, theories, and exceptions. That also have to be mentioned, because nothing is going to be final. Again, we have to take the support of the Anekantavad theory here, which is very, very practical again, because nothing can be said. There are always two sides of a coin. Okay, if you stick by only the one side, then you're going to miss the other side. So that's why all of this has to be covered. That is the statement of principles and theories. So some of the examples, that is Upadesha, directives, what you want to do, directives, prescriptions, advice, do's and don'ts, Upadesha, Niyoga, invariable rule, you have to follow it. Okay, just like Bhutebhyo hi param yasmad nasti chinta chikitsite, this is the best example, invariable rule. There is no deviation from this point. So that's why it becomes Niyoga. Vikalpa, this or that, that is the optional rule. Then Apavarga, exceptions are going to be there always. You have studied in the 12th standard chemistry also, Auger principle, when it comes to copper and chromium, again they differ. So this is the part of life. You have to accept the exceptions also. So that is Apavarga. And then Swasagnya, use of the technical terms according to the, again, what is the foundation, what is your target, what are the target audience for whom you are creating or composing a text. So accordingly, you have to decide what kind of terms you are going to use. So that is the second, I think, the statement of principles and theories. So first we form a foundation, then we talk about the principles and theories. Yes, next please. Then comes the explanation. Again, see, Sutra, Bhashya, Sangraha, Kambam, again the same things appear again and again. So here we have explanation of various concepts. Now, whatever you have formed, the foundation is clear, foundation is strong, your theories and principles are strong. Now you are going to explain. So that is the third step actually. So how are you going to explain? Again, Nirvachanam, Niruktihi. First is the etymology. Again, use of the grammar has to be the supreme. So then Puro Paksha, what are the objections raised? Because they add to the beauty. You know, whenever you are in a lecture and there is a dull class, neutral, they do not ask any questions. What is the scope then? So objections are a very, very important part. They are called Purvapakshaha, Akshep Purvaka Prashnaha, Purvapakshaha. So they lead to the final discussion or final conclusion. So it is the provisional view which you have to mention. Anumata, acceptance of others, that is Sarva Parishadam Idam Shastram. So that we have to accept as Anumatam. Uttar Paksha, what are the logical answers, what are the logical explanations, they are Uttar Paksha. And then we are using some illustrations. Yesterday, Principal Madam was also talking about the animations and something. So they are actually the need of the hour, actually. To bring again to the objectivity, we want to change subjectivity to the objectivity. That is the only main purpose of research. Because everything in Ayurveda, Purusham Vikshya, Sagneyo Vishaguttamaha has been written. So Charaka himself accepts that nothing is going to be standard in Ayurveda. Each of an individual is going to be a different entity. So there starts actually the biggest challenge. How to go for standardization when he himself says that all of us are different? Then the standard means they are having these some limits or some generality. But here that becomes a big challenge today. Also we see that the use of the illustrations, use of these means near to 100% animations or charts. Okay, so they are just the devices which are going to help us to make a better understanding. Next, please. Then at the end we have diction and expression. The beauty of the language again. Language, it's very, very important part. See, what does he say? An anonymous author says, Futata na padaihi apakrita na cha na swikrutam arthagauravam. It is the crispiness of the language actually, which attracts. Okay, so the language is a very, very important part. Whatever your verbal deliberation or written explanation, so in-depth meaning actually. What you are conveying in some beautiful words, brevity of words we say. So that is a very, very important part of the, so it is a diction and expression which come as a very, very important scope of the Tantrayukti. So some examples, Vakya Sheshaha, yesterday you had a lot of discussion, Arthapatti, again a beauty, but it cannot be considered as a Pramana again because sometimes it leads to the deviation of the principles. Then Samuchaya, collection of ideas, Atikranta, reference to the past, and Anagata, reference to the future statement. So they are all actually the brevity of language. What language you are using, because it adds color or crisp to your work. So I think, yes, they are the main four scope of the Tantrayuktis. Next, please. Yes, again, this is very, very important, adaptable to the nature of text. Again, the ball is in our court again. How will you make them adapt to the nature of the text? What kind of text are you writing? What is your target audience? Again, the same factors come into. Okay, so Tantre Samasa Vyasokte Bhavati Eta Hi Kritsnashaha. Again, it is adaptability. It can be adapted in any situation. But who is going to adapt again? The Parikshaka, all of us. They are using their own logic, they are using their Vichara Shakti, their knowledge actually to apply these Tantrayuktis. So that's why they are adaptable. You can adapt them to any of the situations. So they are very easily adaptable. So this is an important statement in the end. Tantrayukti acts as a bridge between ancient knowledge and contemporary scientific traditions. So that is a very, very important, I think, statement that summarizes actually what is the scope today. So it acts as a bridge between the ancient knowledge, whatever has been coded, and the scientific nature of the contemporary era. Next, please. Okay, now, actually, I don't like this, but today there is everywhere you talk about the research again. So this is a perspective of one author. You again may deviate, but some people actually talk about Uddesha as the objective enumeration or the abstract. Then Apavarga, that is exceptions, Adhikarana, which is topic under discussion. Pradesh and Prasanga, they talk about the partial outline of the work. Prayojana, what is the impact? Because your work actually may add to the policy decision. So policies are formed on the basis of some articles, just like you see, the very famous journals, JAMA and all, they create a lot of interest actually. When the author or the researcher finds a new idea or new concept, then it is to be considered as a policy matter. So that's why that becomes a very, very important point. What is the prayojana? What is the impact of your work? Okay, so Hetavartha, causal linkages. Atikranta Vekshana, reference, very important part. You all do this. Ati Desha, Anumata, next. Viparya, Sanshaya, opposite views, they also have to be incorporated. They add the beauty to your work. Then Apadesh and Vyakhyan are the advancement of reasoning, exposition. Arthapatti, presumption of occurrence, okay. Vikalpa, Uttar Paksha, Yoga, Samuchaya, okay. So actually they are, it is just a view. You are free to add or delete again because this is not the final one. This is just an interpretation. Maybe that these are the terms associated with the present day research. So now we have talked about the, I think, the scope, then limitations again, which I personally feel. So I do not know whether they are right or wrong. The house is open for discussion again. So actually, this is my own view, as I told you. They seem to have evolved or developed from or along with other fundamental concepts. Because when we see the historical development, when you see the original Charaka work or Agnivesha Tantra, then the when we come to the Sushrutacharya, Dradabala, Nagarjuna actually added the Uttar Tantra. So again, that creates, was there in the beginning there was need or not? That was a big question actually. So that's why it leads to a kind of conclusion that yes, it has developed as an aid to the other fundamental principles. As I told you, our crux will be always the Praman or Pariksha. No other tool can overcome Praman or Pariksha. This is my personal opinion that the Praman or Pariksha acts as the base for everything, whether it is Tantrayukti or any other development. It is the Praman actually which plays the most important foundation. Okay, so Pramana, then Karyakaran Siddhant, Sarvatantras, all these Siddhantas Padartha Jnana, Vad Marga, Siddhanta, and others. So actually, they are a supporters. They are the aid. They are not the final one. They are only the aid or the tools or the devices to assist all this. Okay, so Praman and all, they are the main epistemology. It is the main. So the Tantra actually, they are only acting as a support. Okay, so second is primarily a methodology of composition and interpretation of a text. Its main aim was the composition, how to compose the text and how to interpret the text. Now, if you stick to Tantra, you cannot solve all the questions or all the phenomenon because sometimes you have to take the support of the Praman again. So every time you cannot solve. By hook or by crook, you want to just get it. Okay, this is this and this is that. But sometimes you have to take the support. It is not an independent factor. You have to take the support of the other Pramanas, Siddhantas. So then only you can get a complete knowledge. Now, this is again very important point. I have already talked about it. What about the objectivity? Because that is the main aim of research today. Whatever subjective parameters have been mentioned, they have to be translated or converted to the objective parameters. That is the only challenge, I think. In so many years, I am associated with this work, and it is the only challenge. Today also, I fail to have the objectivity. Clear? So, that is the main aim of contemporary research. Sadly, we do not find answers in the Tantra Yuktis completely. And then, again, very important, how will you quantify the data? There is no mention, there is no mana anywhere. Okay, you can take it in other senses, okay, it may come. But what about the concept of very, very important statistics or mana? So we do not get actually this knowledge because actually the aim was not this quantification of the data. The aim was actually in composition of the data, composition of the text, how to compose scientifically, and how to interpret. That was the only aim actually. So that's why these are the various, I think they are the limitations which are a quintessential part actually of modern day research. I think the Tantra Yuktis fail actually. In my view, I do not know, I may be wrong and I invite your suggestions for this. But what I have understood, I think that, okay, we need a further inquiry into this Tantra Yuktis. Okay, yes, next. Okay, in a nutshell then, I would like to summarize one of the tools for scientific treatises, the primarily being the Praman. This is my own view, that Praman, we cannot overcome the Praman. They are going to be the primary and the rest all others, they are going to be supportive. It is a codification, it is the code and systematization of the methodology, then enables expansion of knowledge. Again, we have the sutra and all. So elucidation of the meaning, clarification of the meaning, focal point for logical statements. Whatever you are speaking logically, you have to talk about the support as the Tantra Yukti. Deductive procedures, induction and deduction, you deduce from the knowledge, and it is the measure of, it is the gauge of intellectual depth, authenticity and applicability of the knowledge of the treatise. Yes. Okay, fine. So I think, I do not know how this lecture must have helped you. And the house is open now.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable presentation. Any queries? No, sir. It's not a query. It's just an opinion that I have. When we think of scope and limitations, it is with a certain aim. To reach this aim, what are the scope and limitations? In that direction, I feel somewhere Tantra Yuktis were not for Pramajnana only like Pramanas. The aim of Tantra Yukti, they are one among the Tantra Guna according to Arunadatta. So it is to beautify or add on to the composition only. With that aim, if we see, there are no limitations in Tantra Yukti. So as a science prayojana, if we say there is limitation. Otherwise, to limit, say Tantra Yuktis have limitations with their purpose, I think it's only the scope we have. Yes.
That is what my aim was. But actually, everywhere you see the module also, clinical utility, the research utility, everywhere they are putting the Tantra Yuktis. By whatever means they want to go, yes, they are related with this or they are related with that. So actually it spoils the original name which you have pointed out. I also agree 100% with what you say. Because original name was the composition, as we say, beauty of the language and interpretation of the language, which is all of us can interpret nowadays. There cannot be a fixed statement that okay, this will come only in this or this will come only in that. So that's it. 100%.
Good morning, sir. I am here. So I have one confusion actually. We have different type of research: clinical research, literary research, drug research. Whether this Tantra Yukti we can apply it in all kinds of research.
I personally feel it is mainly for the literature because
In legal
it is
literature.
Tantra se yojana. See, it is just a yojana of the Tantra. Now, the base is Tantra Yukti or Tantra Yojana. Then you apply it.
Because sir, you rightly told what I think. Because it cannot be quantified. Because in any kind of research we have to go, then definitely our knowledge has to be established in statistical language. Unless and until we produce our knowledge in statistical views, it is useless as per the modern science. So it is not possible, I think also. So
So many years, we have hundreds and hundreds of research conducted, but are they accepted?
right,
That is the main problem. That's what my point was. How to translate subjective into objective parameters.
right,
That is the biggest challenge. It's like pain, Vedana. We have all types of pain.
right, right.
How are you going to quantify?
Quantify.
That is the big problem. And you see that we say, okay, Rakta-Kshaya. We see the Lakshans of Rakta-Kshaya or as we mentioned, Abdashishya-Priti. Now, these are all subjective parameters.
Right.
Abdashishya-Priti, all of us can have different Abdashishya-Priti. So, how can we make it into an objective parameter? How are you going to examine it in laboratory?
Right.
Sometimes the hemoglobin level is normal, then also the patient feels Abdashishya-Priti. And when we give the Rakta Vardhak or Ayurveda says, okay, you increase the Rakta in this sense, it helps. And the results come down. But in laboratory, we do not find.
Right.
So what to do? That is the biggest challenge.
And many times patients have symptoms like itchua, this, all these things. It is very difficult. Even there is no standard for your gradation also.
We have this scoring pattern, and all of us again, they commit all sides of whatever is convenient. The method of convenience, the time, the resources. So again, we just go what is convenience.
Right.
That is it.
Thank you.